So what are we going to do about our border? Immigration, border security, that type of thing. It's been a pretty big topic of political discussion for quite a while, but there never seem to be any answers. I find that kind of ironic, especially when the real answer has been right here in front of us all along. And I don't know whether it is that people like to deliberately take these things and make them more complicated than they really are, or maybe it's just that the real answer is so absurdly simple that people aren't getting it. It's going right by them. In any case, I find it a little embarrassing, more than a little embarrassing, when I listen to a conservative try to sound sympathetic in discussing this, only to serve up the idea of self-deportation as a solution. Really? And if I hear one more time the expression comprehensive immigration reform from the left, come on, isn't that your answer to everything? Destroy it and then rebuild it in your image? But you never tell us any details what that reform actually looks like. Or maybe it's one of those things like Obamacare, you have to pass it to find out what's actually in it. How's transforming America? How's that working out for you now? All right, never mind all that. I can't take this one more second, and that's the reason why I, your friend, am serving up to you something nobody's ever given you before, a real solution. This solution will work. It will make the world better, and either party could pick this up and run with it, and one of our parties is going to pick this up and run with it in the next 5 years, guarantee you. And whichever party that is, it will be the dominant one for the next generation, probably the next 2 or 3. It starts with a question about borders themselves. Why? Why would any country even bother drawing up a border, let alone trying to enforce it? As I see it, there are 3 reasons. Protection of national resources, and whether it's oil, land, or human capital, every country has resources worth protecting. A physical boundary for national jurisdiction. This is going to sound rather obvious, but U.S. jurisdiction ends where the U.S. ends. But as a subtext to that, it's also a psychic boundary for a place where the shared values of any one country from which its laws are derived gently yield to the values of the neighboring country. Let's take a closer look at the U.S. and Mexico. Both are very similar in that they have huge reservoirs of similar resources. We're both rich in oil, land, and human talent. We both may have different legal systems, but I think we both would respect the same basic laws, and that's because we really do have much more shared values than we have differences. Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come to take all of this to the next level. The time is now for the United States to formally annex the entire country of Mexico. President Fox, congratulations. You've just been promoted to governor of the 51st state of the USA. Extension of the U.S. interstate system to your state starts next week. You're welcome. Can you even imagine all the infrastructure just waiting to be built up? Talk about shovel ready. And the huge benefit to both economies that would come from it. It would raise this whole part of the world to a whole other level. But probably far and away the strongest reason why this needs to happen right now is the Mexican people themselves. They wanted to be Americans all along. Talk about a pathway to citizenship. Yeah. And why shouldn't they? When their values really are so close of a match for ours, they already buy in to the American work ethic. They already buy into the American family values ethic. And they already buy into the American traditional religious ethic. Come on, right-winger. Isn't that pretty much your entire slate of talking points all the way up and down the line? They're practically Americans already. Don't you see it? And this back and forth flow of immigration, it's just going to keep coming whether we recognize it or not. So we may as well take charge of it. By the way, a newly reinvigorated USA backed up by a newly annexed Mexico, couple that with our already strong alliance with our neighbor to the north, and you now have a very strong Western Hemispheric coalition of shared values that, at a time like this, could really stand up to, let's just say, some of the extremism in other parts of the world right now. Well, not on this hemisphere. You think about that. The right will no doubt see this as the ultimate cave-in, while the left, I'm sure, will see this as the ultimate act of imperialism. Both are wrong and right. And maybe that's kind of the whole point. And just maybe, this could be the thing that inspires that elusive thing that we've all been trying for so long: cooperation. I'll see you next time.